is merging hydroponics with aquaculture. And hydroponics is growing fruits and vegetables in just using water, and aquaculture is farming fish and other aquatic species for food. So basically, there's a lot of pros to having a aquaponics garden. First of all, they save space. You don't have to weed plants. There's very little soil-borne pests. Plants grow faster, use less energy and less manpower. It's an easier form of gardening. Eating healthy, organic, you can choose to grow whatever you want. Your food has more nutrients and is healthier to eat. And you're able to test the water and see what contaminants could be in the water, which would be in your food. It's very sustainable. Once you get it established, you can get it into a closed loop system, nearly a closed loop system, where you can grow plants that will actually feed the fish. You can use scraps from your kitchen, fruits and vegetables. A lot of the fish that grow in aquaponics setups are usually tilapia. They're herbivores, so you can use cuttings from your kitchen. There are some cons. It's difficult to get started. It's kind of a labor-intensive process to get set up. It's also quite expensive, but I learned a lot, and I can probably do it a lot more economically. This project can be seen as a light green or a shallow ecological ethic because it's anthropocentric. It's concerning food that humans are consuming and how we can continue to produce food to sustain ourselves. The fish are going to be used for human consumption. They're going to be living in a relatively small tank and not in nature where they belong. Alright, so for my project, I'm going to be doing a do-it-yourself aquaponics setup. I bought one of these. They're called an IBC tote, water tote. I think this one is 275 gallons. And I'm going to show you guys how you can turn this into a self-sustaining aquaponics farm. So the first step is we actually have to get the container out of the cage, and it's pretty simple. It just has a couple nuts and bolts. Unscrew it and flip it upside down, and then we can get the plastic water container out so we can start modifying the cage. Okay, so I'm going to be using a reciprocating saw or sawzall to cut this. It's galvanized steel cage, and then we're going to use an angle grinder to clean up the sharp parts. We're going to cut it here. We're going to cut it here so that there's no sharp part. We'll have a bar on each side of it. We're not done yet. We still have to grind away the sharp parts, but I'm just going to show you how it's going to look when it's all pretty much set up. So basically, this piece goes Alright, so now you can see up here is where all the plants are going to be grown, and then down here is going to be the fish tank. That's where all the fish are going to be. And we're going to have plumbing to get the water from down in here up into here. It's going to cycle through all the plants where they're going to absorb all the nutrients, and then back down through here, back into the tank. Okay, so we're spray painting this part. This is the grow bed. We spray painted this and the tank black to limit the amount of algae that's going to be growing. If it's black, it's going to keep the water warmer, and it's also going to stop the algae from growing, which will take the nutrients away from
Okay, so you basically just spray paint the whole thing. Anywhere that he's gonna get light that could grow algae. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just enough so that not a lot of light's gonna be shining into the tank and into the grow bed. I was going to use low VOC paint in the spirit of being sustainable, but it doesn't stick to plastic as well. It sticks mostly to like drywall and stuff like that. So we're sacrificing a little bit. So in the grow bed, there's a cap which is leaking, so I have kitchen food grade silicone that's hopefully gonna stop the leaks, get it in all the nooks and crannies and all the holes. And then you gotta push it down with your finger. That should stop the leaks from happening. Now we're going to install the drain for the grow bed. To do that, we're going to use this. It's called a bulkhead connector. It works like this. You drill a hole in the grow bed right here, and you slip this part, the threaded part, through, and then you use the nut part on the other side to screw it down. And it uses this little gasket to pinch it together so there's no leaks. It doesn't really matter if there's any leaks. The grow bed is going to be directly above the tank. It's the beauty of this project is it doesn't have to be perfect, because one piece is on top of another. It's not going to drain onto the floor. It's going to drain into the main tank. Naturally, I bought the wrong size bit, so it's going to take a little bit to make it fit the right way. Now we have our hole. It's not pretty, but it works. This goes through there. This is the threaded portion with the gasket on top. Goes through there, and then on the underside, this connects into here. So now we'll have a place where the water can drain out of our grow bed. Now it's time to fill the tank where all the fish are going to be, down here, and we're going to use tilapia, but to start we're just going to use regular little goldfish, 4 little guys, just to start. We have our tank fully filled up now. We have about I'd say 6-8 inches of space left, and I'm just going to show you what we have in here. So we have one large pump right here, and then we have a smaller backup pump there. And also we have these just oxygenate the water, and they run to this power cord and then out through here where the grow bed's going to be. To start the nitrogen cycle that's going to fertilize and feed the plants, we have some goldfish here just to start. The goldfish produce a lot of waste, and that waste has ammonia in it. And then this is beneficial bacteria, and this bacteria turns the ammonia into nitrites, and then there's another bacteria that turns it into nitrates. And nitrates is what feeds the plants, so it's a cycle. This is what we're going to be using to grow our plants in. It's called hydroton. It's just expanded clay beads, basically. Expanded clay pellets. It's going to be what keeps our plants standing up straight. So it's going to be in our grow bed. Here's the hydroton in the grow bed. I kind of wish I filmed putting it in because it's pretty satisfying to watch. Probably gonna take 2 or 3 bags. Now we have our water pumps running into our grow bed with all the hydroton in it. And then this is our drainage overflow. So there's a little bit of space before the water starts. That's so the top layer is going to be dry, so no algae forms. This is our overflow in there, and then this thing keeps the overflow from getting clogged. It just has a bunch of little holes drilled into it. It allows the water to drop through the grow bed and down into the tank. Now we're planting the various vegetables that I bought. I bought a lot of leafy greens because those grow pretty easily in an aquaponics system. Basically take the roots and you get them into the hydroton. The aquaponics system is now basically finished. Starting out with a few plants just to see if there's any problems with the system. I don't think that there will be, but just gonna start with a few and see how they do and see if I can add more. You don't want to add too many and not have enough nutrients, so it's a balancing act. But that's the system.